Alright, in this lesson, we're going to show you guys how to actually create a K-cone limit.
Cool.
And what it's going to do is limit our rotation of the specified objects, our K-actors, to a certain amount. And it's kind of hard to say, really, until you really see it.
Right.
But
well, it's like if you had sort of a ball joint, let's say your shoulder, for instance. If you were to restrict the motion of your shoulder, say, 30 degrees to either side, up and down, you would end up with a cone of access off your shoulder.
That's right.
So the same thing here.
Right. So, I mean, that's kind of a good example for our lamp here. So, let's create one first. Let's go into our actor browser.
So now we're actually going to create one of these K-cone angles?
Our K-cone limits.
K-cone limits. Okay. I'll get the name right someday.
Someday.
Yes.
So K-cone limit, under K-actor, K-constraint, K-cone limit. And let's right-click on our surface and say Add K-cone limit here. So that creates this guy in the top view you see. And it doesn't really matter where it is. The only important part is the rotation of the object.
Sure.
So let's exit out the actor browser.
I mean, you're going to be specifying what object it's constraining and then the amount of rotation it's constraining to, so it really doesn't matter where you position the thing.
That's right. So let's select this guy, and let's rotate it down. So we're going to be constraining our lamp here, so we want to constrain the top chain here to only have a certain amount of rotation.
Okay.
So we want the cone limit to be pointing down.
That makes sense.
So let's select this guy, select the rotation. And let's not select the brush. Now let's rotate it down.
Oh, looks good in that view.
Yes, it does. Let's go into this view. Actually,
looks pretty good in that view too.
Yeah, it does.
Not bad.
So let's double click on this guy and we get the properties. Down under Karma Constraint, it's still a constraint, so a lot of these properties are going to be the same, but we do have a few differences. Down here we have K-damping, which is going to dampen our action a little bit.
Sure, well, damping is going to resist motion and eventually slow down any rotation that we have until it stops. If you didn't have this on here, you'd have, like, the event of perpetual motion, like we discussed earlier.
Right. And down here we have K-half angle, and this is really the pretty much most important attribute with the cone limit.
Okay.
And it's going to be setting how much our karma actor can actually rotate.
Okay, it's actually going to be defining the cone of rotation.
That's right.
Cool.
So, again, this is in 65,535 karma units.
Okay.
So, a high number is better in this case. So,
sure.
What would you like to do? Let's set this to 0 to show off the effect.
Why don't we? Let's go ahead and show them how we can use the cone to just lock down motion. Or at least almost completely limit it out. We'll get a little bit of wobble if we really start, firing this thing around really hard.
That's right. So let's use half angle of 0, so it should have 0 rotation.
Right.
And under K constraint actor, let's select the top guy right here. So we have our K actor.
And remember, though, that angle is going to be a half angle, so if you needed like 60,000 degrees of rotation, or 60,000 units of rotation, I should say, that you'd have to actually set that to 30,000.
Right.
So just be aware of that.
Right. So let's exit this out, and let's actually test it out and see how it looks. So compressing line maps, and let's run the level and see how it looks. Waiting for it to load up.
And we're waiting for it to load up. And here it goes.
All right. So 3, 2, 1. Here we are. Let's go in here. Let's shoot this guy around. Let's shoot this guy around quite a lot. And you'll notice that it's affecting it a lot, but the reason it's having... Notice how the top... Are you seeing it, Zach?
I can see it. It's just a little tricky to make out with the texture. Maybe if you back up to the opposite wall so that we get kind of that contrast effect with that bright brick there in the background. I mean like straight back. Back down the hallway.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, I get you.
There we go.
So let's shoot that. Let's see if we can get the effect more.
So you can see that it's actually hinging from the center now because the top has been constrained down.
That's right. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. But to show off this effect a little bit more, why don't we go back into UnrealEd and constrain the whole thing so it doesn't move at all.
All right.
So let's go back into the constraint properties. And let's set the stiffness up really high so that we can really see this.
All right.
And let's select this guy and Shift-D to duplicate him out. And let's create 3 of these guys to actually
So was the low stiffness why we had just a little bit of wobble up there?
That's right. I mean, it had to do a little bit because the stiffness wasn't set too high.
Right. We had set the thing to have 0 rotation, but we told it not to really enforce that rule too hard.
Right. So let's Shift D and duplicate this guy one more time. And let's move him to the side a little bit.
Okay.
Alright, that's looking pretty good. Now let's set up the properties for these guys. Let's set the middle one that we have selected here to the second chain. Let's move this out of the way. And K constraint actor, let's find, and let's select the middle guy. That didn't really select it, so let's do it again.
There we go.
So, now we have the actor 8. And let's go down to the last one, select our cone, and go to find once again, and select the last one. So that's number 10.
Cool.
So let's run this level and see if it actually constrains it completely like we're really wanting it to do.
Okay.
So loading up. 3, 2, 1. Alright, here we go. Let's shoot this, and you'll notice that and it's really wobbling, really hard, and kind of jerky.
Right, spinning a lot, too.
Yeah, it is spinning a lot. But notice it's completely constraining our object, so we can hardly move at all.
That is just too cool.
Yeah, it is very, very cool.
So we've really just kind of shown off that you have a lot of power over how these things are rotating.
Right.
So how about we take this and kind of push it to another level, and let's use these cone limits to customize how our lamp is going to swing around. Like, I'm thinking maybe the base of the lamp could have a lot of swinging ability. Maybe the central part of the chain could have a little bit less, maybe about half as much, and the top could only have a little bit of rotation, in general, so that the chain itself will actually seem to curve as the lamp swings around.
All right, so let's do that. So let's go into our let's back up just a little bit. And let's select our top cone limit. And
just a quick side note, while you can place those cone limits anywhere in your scene, it's going to be a good idea to leave them close by to whatever it is they're constraining, just so if somebody else is working on your level and they come through and they're like,
sure,
oh, what is this doing here? They're going to know that it's actually constraining that object.
Right.